the ship, those need to be retracted and cleared out of all of the flamey bits, essentially, right? And so they do that vent down of fluid interfaces, as they call it, at T minus 40 seconds. So there'll be a very remarkable, very peculiar vent at T minus 40 seconds if they do not hold. And so I'm going to be looking out for that when we reach that point. And so that's one of the very few things that we sort of try to keep up.
Absolutely. When will both stages have wrapped up propellant loading, Alex?
It should be in about 3 minutes or so. The ship seems to be wrapping up very shortly. The methane tank on the booster, you can see it's almost completely frosted over. So far, everything seems to be tracking good. The booster liquid oxygen load is sort of the last thing, because it's also the last thing that starts. So it's also the last thing that ends in that propellant load sequence. But so far, so good. I've been trying to listen to all of the updates from SpaceX. Pad, vehicle, weather, everything looks gorgeous. You can see there a blue sky as the backdrop of Starship. And so it is an amazing day today. Everything seems to be on track for a liftoff at 4 p.m. Central. That will be 2200 UTC, or 5 minutes and 12 seconds from now.
Yeah, and just recapping here quickly, this is the 6th flight of Starship. This is the 6th Starship full stack flight test. We are looking at booster 13 and ship 31, which are stacked on top there, and they are getting ready to launch. And we are 5 minutes away from that. Both vehicles are already in engine chill and in final propellant wrapping before they are ready to go. SpaceX wants to commit to a booster catch today of booster 13, attempting the second booster catch of the Starship program. If everything permits that and everything is good to go, the ship will fly in a bit of a different flight profile versus the previous launches, where it will go for an in-space burn to demonstrate relighting and deorbit capabilities. And also the heat shield has been modified to also prove a different approach and a bit more aggressive approach on that heat shield. Overall, everything is looking good. We are not aware of SpaceX tracking any issues whatsoever here. We're just 4 minutes away from launch. And with that, we are looking here at the final steps. Again, don't be irritated if the booster looks a bit emptier. The frosting lags a bit behind, because of course it takes a bit of time from the propellant touching the outer surface to the frost ring appearing. And also there is a bit of a gap between methane and liquid oxygen tank, where basically the common bulkhead is, which is the bulkhead that disconnects the methane and liquid oxygen. 3 minutes and 30 seconds here to go. And everything looking very, very promising. And of course, these chopsticks there that we see there, they will be the interesting watch item here. We want to see a catch. If everything permits, we want to see a catch here for the second time. And
catch would be good.
The conditions couldn't be more beautiful, right, Alex?
Oh, boy. One of the things that I'm looking now is that sign of propellant load having wrapped up. I'm looking at the tower, at the OLM, with those vents coming up. There you go. Tower vent is back. Ship propellant load has ended. And then with the OLM vent coming back, should be coming back in just a few seconds from now. That'll be our indication that booster propellant load has stopped. But you can see also the tank farm has quieted down. All of those subcoolers that were very, very active just a few minutes ago, they are no longer active. That's normal. That's because they have stopped propellant load. And so that is the next thing that we should be having now, is that now that Starship is loaded with 4,500 tons of propellants,
4,500 tons.
Preparing that for liftoff, and hopefully we get through that T-minus 40-second
it's like
mark
9,000.
with no holds.
It's like 90,000
So far,
pounds.
so good. Every single update I'm hearing so far, it's green.
I mean,
this is going.
I mean, we might be 120 seconds away from the 6th flight of Starship. Alex, it's always a pleasure to do this with you, because we have now doing what? This is the 5th flight together, so I'm excited for this. And I'm absolutely looking forward to see this fly. Again, there might be a chance, we don't have the confirmation yet if SpaceX will clear the hold or not. There's a potential hold at T-minus 40 seconds that they might take or might not take. They usually confirm in advance if they want to take that hold or if they go right through it. If they go right through it, there might not be that much time for us to confirm you that before they're already arriving there. So watch for the bottom of the rocket where the suppression system and where the deluge system will start to spool up. And that is the thing you want to see, and that means they will start to ignite these Raptor engines. The holding clamps at this point have already been released. The rocket is just being held down by its own weight. There is nothing of like a hold down clamp or commit clamp anymore that is holding the stack. We are 50 seconds away. We should get confirmation if they take that hold or not any second now.
Let's see.
And again, watch for that bottom of the rocket. That's where we will get the confirmation. Any second now. There is the beautiful rocket on the stack. Watch if we can see at the bottom if something is moving there. No holds. So watch for the deluge system to spool up. That will be our sign of imminent Raptor ignition. First the fire suppression system. There's the fire suppression system spooling up. Next up will be the deluge.
Look at that. Holy shit. That's tremendous. Holy cow. Man, I wish I could see one. Wish I could be there live. That would be something to see. Hey, Citizen 9. Yeah, don't hit the dome. Fucking morons.
We are 90 seconds into the 6th flight of Starship. Everything looking good so far. Correct me if I'm wrong, yeah, Alex, but I see 33 healthy Raptor engines. Absolutely.
Just went through max Q, supersonic.
Fucking 33 engines.
20 kilometers right now. You can see there the SpaceX speed. Everything healthy so far.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Been a gorgeous launch.
And we are just approaching now the hot staging maneuver. Something that we didn't give that much attention, but of course it's absolutely insane. They will ignite the engines on the ship before the MECO, before the stage separation. So what they basically do is they will use the thrust of the second stage to push the second stage away from the booster. And that maneuver is coming up, that hot staging maneuver. So far, everything looking good.
Watch out for that main engine cutoff. Well, I guess most engines cut off now.
Yep. And there it is, hot staging.
And
looking good so far. And again, the booster will do a flip now. The booster will do the flip right away out of this maneuver. You can see there, and the booster is now in boost back.
That's the flip.
And now we are in the critical phase where the flight director
and tower is go for catch.
Let's go. That's what we want to hear. That means they will try to attempt the catch here. The second catch attempt of the Starship program.
That boost back burn going well. All 13 engines on the booster are firing, heading back to the launch site.
Absolutely insane.
Fuck,
and
there's
that catch is
13 on
coming
the
up
booster
roughly
alone.
at 7 minutes after liftoff. So you're already halfway there from liftoff, just saying. And in about 3 minutes and 30 seconds, we will know if Booster 13 will follow Booster 12 in a successful catch attempt. Boost back burn
We see
looking
first-
healthy.
So it's
Should we see
flying back.
first
It's flying
that's the
back,
first
basically.
shutdown,
So
And
it's
that's
like
good.
and then a
getting
final
back to
shutdown
where
if
it was.
it's staggered.
And remember, this
Let's see.
maneuver is a bit different for versus Falcon 9. For while Falcon 9 performs an entry burn to slow itself down, this requirement
There we
does
go.
not exist for Super Heavy. So the next burn this booster will conduct is
Hot stage and
the
ring has
landing
been
burn.
separated, by the way. You can see it there now floating separately from the
It's
booster.
like an angel.
If you squint, of course, because it's very close to it right now.
Absolutely crazy. There it goes. Coasting down back to the launch side. And that booster is now our center of attention the next 3 minutes. Looking good so far. Whew, Alex. Ascent already going great.
Oof. The ship continuing into orbit.
That's what we want to hear. The ship, of course, on its
Oh.
own journey.
It looks like the booster is now no-go for a catch.
Oh no.
Okay, there we go. That was
It's going to
something
be
that
diverting to a splashdown, unfortunately.
Oh, that sucks.
There we go. SpaceX has confirmed that not everything apparently is green for catch, and they
Oh, well.
will abort
So the tower
catch
was
attempt.
go before, but during that boost back burn, it seems like they have decided to not go for the catch.
Oh well.
And that
it's
is
okay,
the final
you know.
commit.
That's
That's a final
that's
commit,
why
right,
all of
Alex?
these. Yeah,
That sucks.
that's why all of these.
I want my money back.
Commit criteria are need to be followed, and need to be looked through and everything. It's why they are there, right? But hey, ship continues into orbit. The booster will not return to the launch site, but it will attempt
show
a
the ship.
splashdown on the Gulf of Mexico. So if that goes well, that'll be a good piece of data that they'll get from the booster.
Yeah, the first
Absolutely.
catch was
This is,
freaking awesome.
We still have a lot of things to track here today, so get ready for still a lot of excitement in the next few. And
Well,
the
get
ship,
back to the
let's
ship.
be real. The star of the show today is very much also the ship. That thing has still
Look at
quite
that.
a journey for us. Look at that.
Now it's
booster.
re-entering, but remember they have just confirmed no catch, so it is going to be attempting a splashdown. We're going to try and track it all the way and see if we have luck.
What do you mean attempting a splashdown? You just hit the water. Hey,
Yep,
West Side.
Absolutely. Look at that tracking. Gorgeous. And basically the booster has changed its trajectory, so it's no longer going closer to the tower.
Should be
Over
coming up on that
people?
landing burn. There you go.
Change this trajectory so it's no longer over people.
That's the landing burn. That's what we want to see. And there's the water.
Down selecting to 3.
There's the 3.
They could have done it.
And
See, it's doing
we
the translation
have-
just as if it was being caught. And now,
Yep.
there you go.
Oh,
And I would not
That's
be
a-
surprised if now it blows up, by the way. So don't be surprised.
bec-
there
there
you
it
go. Good job, Booster. Good job.
Commander Nelson was on that ship. Oh no! Jeannie will be all alone.
Was that the sound?
I think that was the burn, right? So next up
Yeah.
should be the... I'm listening. Do we get a boom?
The ship, meanwhile, continues to go into a nominal trajectory. So far, so good.
And it seems like we don't get the explosion sound. But yeah, everything on the ship seems to be going well.
Great. The flat earthers are gonna say it was fake because no sonic boom or no boom.
And that, again, that can happen. Like, let's be real. this is a thing that can happen, and that we always said they only would commit for this catch if everything went
Engine cam!
absolutely perfect. Oh, there it is!
Engine cam, look at that. Okay, the vacuums have shut down as expected. Should be coming up very close to that final shutdown. Look out for that speed. Should be, I think it's targeting about 26,000 kilometers per hour
Wow.
for these flights. But don't quote me on that.
Jesus, 25,000 kilometers an hour. Holy shit, that's fast.
Going down here. But, I mean, ship looking good so far. We have not heard that anything on the ship is... and there it is. Engine shut
There
off.
you go.
Ship. We are now waiting for confirmation of good orbit on ship. And the ship has quite a few milestones still to go here. Because the ship will still perform an engine relight in space. And will all...
Man, it is barely climbing. It's like going 1 kilometer a minute on its climb.
also try to perform, of course, this more aggressive...
And good insertion.
There we go. That's good. That enables SpaceX to do more milestones here. And potentially get a lot of valuable data from the ship.
Yeah, it's just basically another test.
Wow.
No, I believe it's unmanned.
Look at these views.
Just
I
a
love
test flight.
that engine camera. I'm
They're
glad we're
going
getting
in-
that, and I hope
They're going into reinsertion now.
we get that during the engine relight. When is that engine relight again? Do we have a timing of that?
Yeah, it is about 37 minutes into flight, so about 26 minutes
Really
from
cool
now.
to see it lift off.
Absolutely.
To be more
And
precise, if everything follows the same timeline, which again, times are approximate, but SpaceX has it at T plus 37
If you missed it, you got time to go back and rewatch the launch before they re-enter.
and 46 seconds. So that's sort of the point in the timeline. So we have a little bit of a coast phase here. One thing that I'm looking forward to, though, during this coast phase, we're going to see orbital sunset
oh, true.
and then sunrise.
Oh,
That's
that'd
gonna
be cool. One thing I'm looking into with for the CNC is a automatic tool changer. And the cheapest one I've found is like $600. I think 600, six or five, something like that. Oh, mice! No, there's mice. The mice fell off. Oh no. Do you see the mice? Oh no. Then they have a spindle. They actually have a spindle for 600 or something, or 3 something, that has a handle, has like a lever, kind of like a drill press handle that allows you to change the bit without having to mess with wrenches and shit, which looks really nice. It's made by the Hammer Company. They produce their own CNC, have their own spindle. That would be nice. One thing that's affordable that I'd like to add to it is a pulse wave modulation control for the spindle speed. More space mice for the spindle speed, and to turn it on and off through the CNC controller software. That would be nice. And that's nothing more than, it's just an interface that you clip a wire on the speed controller. You redirect the switch to the interface and then hook it up to the computer. so I can I don't have to flip a switch, don't have to adjust speed. I can actually program in speeds and feeds to the CNC software, and it'll set the speed for me. So if I'm doing like plexiglass, you don't want to run as fast as what you're doing oak with. Um, it's easy to melt PVC or plexiglass rather than cut it. So you want to run at a lower speed. With oak, run as fast as you want, man. Burn it up. Faster the better. So I'd like to have that capability. I'd like to get it built first. That would be nice to actually like have it. It's not what I wanted. Uh-oh. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Yeah, chopsticks don't get to work today.
I'm not even. I didn't even have my phone out. It was just standing on the roof with a group of folks and just watching it. And I can't explain what it's like. I've watched NSF for so long. I've seen all of the launches, and I hear the rumbles from the cameras in the field and the folks doing their job. But to feel it hit is just unbelievable. It's just something I'll never forget. And this is only Flight 6. How many more?
Yeah.
We got a lot more to go.
We absolutely still have a lot more to go.
What is that shot? Oh, that's down the flap. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's down one of the flaps. It's amazing, these views that we're getting, right? That how we're seeing almost orbital sunset, I guess, because it's actually not orbital, but you know what I mean.
I love how the stainless
Yes.
steel, when exposed to that kind of heat, starts tinting those colors. I looked up what that was called the other day, and I forgot it. I just watched a rocket launch, and
It's called oxidation.
my brain is
Look
gone.
at these
Right.
people there.
Heat coloring.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
That's how watchmakers make blue screws. They heat treat them in brass shavings or brass powder in a little brass dish over a heater. And when it turns that color, it's a tempering color. It'll go through straw to yellow to brown to blue, green, and then eventually to black.
And
Ooh.
there's the banana.
Oh.
There's the banana payload.
Yep, there it is.
Banana for scale.
Open the door.
Yep.
And Pez dispense that banana.
You can see
Yep,
the
and that-
cables are not in tension. They are essentially free floating now.
I got my bananas.
Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
They actually put a banana
and
in
we
there
still have that
just for
engine
scale.
relight and re-entry. And I mean,
Awesome.
if at the end of the day you're getting an engine relight in space of a Raptor engine and the re-entry footage, I mean, I'd take that. It's still gonna be quite an exciting evening, and that will be about the next hour, because until that ship re-entry, we are talking about well, it will start in less than an hour, but if the ship goes all the way, it's about an hour. If we get all the way to splashdown. So yeah, there's the roof team.
I was wearing my shirt. I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist a wardrobe change before I ran up to the roof, so I had to change. But hey guys, I had to change my I just changed my shirt for this launch. First rocket launch. Got to wear my captain's gear.
Yep, I agree.
Just waving my nerd flag. Now we're looking. It's going to come into the Indian Ocean right at dawn. Do we know where in the sunlight it's going to be?
It will be roughly at dawn, if I recall correctly. But that's the most exciting thing here, right? We are getting a ship flip and a ship landing for in daylight.
I'm really interested to see how the sides of the ship, how they handle not having the TPS tiles. And again, they're pushing these vehicles to the limit. I want to ride one. I mean, you guys don't. Everybody knows you guys don't. I'm in. Elon, I'm ready. DM me.
Alex and I have committed for.
This is the hammer.
The machine picks it up. Works beautifully. I'm also pretty happy with the.
That's the hammer. Oops.
Might happen. I'm mostly sure it'll happen in nighttime, so we're gonna see some interesting light spectacle there, and then when it re-enters, it'll go into daylight. So yeah,
Absolutely
Amazing.
spectacular. And yeah, this is basically, we are right now experiencing the sunset before that sunrise, which will then result in the ship re-entering over the Indian Ocean. It's gonna be quite a spectacle.
Yeah, the Earth is off to the right on your screen, looking down the ship. So that's why when you saw that halo, that blue line of the sun coming through the atmosphere, absolutely incredible views.
Yeah, I fully agree. There we go. There's look at that blue line. Look at that. That's ridiculous.
that's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. I can go see it fading away.
Oh my!
I don't even know what we're looking at. Like, which camera is this? Because it's so dark that you cannot even see the ship.
But
That's fantastic.
I'm the last guy on Earth that's going to be speechless, and I'm literally speechless. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And again, as Adrian said, we've got probably 40 more minutes, maybe 35 more minutes. Then we'll start to see whenever that relight is, right? When we don't know when it's going to happen. I'm just waiting for the engine bay cam to turn on, and
It is, if the SpaceX timeline is to be believed, that should be at T plus 37 minutes.
It's a space nanner. When was the last time we saw the inside? Wasn't it? Was it
Flight 3.
Three? Yeah, when they tried to open the payload bay door and all the venting came in and was flopping around.
You can see the banana has floated a little bit up on the payload bay.
That's their 0G indicator, right?
It's a 0G banana.
That's 0G banana. I want that on a shirt too, Adrian. 0G banana.
I guess it makes sense on their 420th launch.
Yeah, it's so far that ship is very much going, and we are approaching slowly but surely that moment of Raptor relight, which will be amazing to see. We that burn, Alex? That burn is probably just a few seconds, right?
Yeah, I will expect that to be just very, very short burn.
But so right now the propellant is floating around in the tanks, and they push liquid oxygen out? No, they wouldn't do that. They would put something with their RCS thrusters. They're going to move the ship forward slightly to settle everything. Or are we talking about pressurization from the? Oh my gosh! Again, just saw a rocket launch from the other
That's
tanks.
fine.
One thing that we should be seeing shortly, I don't even know if we're going to see actually, because, well, yeah, darkness, right? But they should be preparing that Raptor engine to relight, and that involves chilling down the engine, right? And so I'm not sure if we're even going to be able to see that process, but that will be very, very interesting to know if maybe they'll show it or not.
Folks are saying that the booster, I mean, we saw the explosion. Is it floating? I mean, it's got to be a chunk of it floating. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some chunks might
it
have
could be.
floated, yeah. They'll get rid of that eventually.
Oh yeah.
And we are of course looking here, standing by for
That was an expensive payload to get into.
yeah, that's probably the most expensive launch banana ever.
The banana. Somebody could get it from the Indian Ocean. Who knows? Probably not, but I love it. SpaceX has a sense of humor. That's kind of, it's fun covering their launches because there's always something different. It's
Yep,
fun to cover.
absolutely.
Guys, I can't say enough. If you've never seen a rocket launch, you can come right here and see it. I never thought this would happen, that I would be able to do this, and thank all of you guys, everybody, NSF and everybody in chat, and just everybody. You know, over 15,000 people watching right now. I'm stunned. You guys all told me too. You warned me, and I didn't believe you.
Yeah,
Adrian's like, I want you to watch the launch. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be up there talking to it. No, he goes, Gene, I want you to watch the launch. And brother, you were right. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is the one that this guy has on his machine, and it's $900 fucking dollars. Fuck.
That's the lightning protection.
But we're gonna have to wait a little bit until that 7th flight, because that'll be with the Block 2 version 2 of the ship. And in the meantime, we're gonna see a lot of testing, which is good.
I think we got a
We like
special
testing.
treat on Flight 5 with a catch. I really do. Because all those things have to go exactly right for them to say, yes, go for catch. And if there was something wrong with the boost back bird, and they said, you know what, guys, let's just play it safe, save the OLM. As Adrian said, I'd rather replace a booster than an OLM because they don't have another one. And they're building boosters left and right. So I think we got spoiled with that, and we all wanted to see another catch, and we're going to see another catch in the future. This time, they said, no, let's just land it. By the way, where the booster landed, potentially on future flights, we could see a ship landing somewhere in the Gulf just off of that. I mean, probably they're going to do the Pacific first, but we'll see. The regulatory people let them fly over. But we're going to see some amazing stuff going forward.
Absolutely. How much longer until that Raptor relight?
Like 12 minutes, 37 minutes after T plus 37,
Yeah,
right?
12 minutes from that burn.
And then coming up, we've got like later launches. We've got in-flight refueling and
look at that.
tracer target. Man,
That comms tower has taken a bit of damage.
Well, you know what it also means as well? They can clear the roadblock with that stand and lift, because they will not need that. Silver lining, people. Silver lining.
Yep, absolutely. And again, the next flight is not that far away.
So the automatic tool changer is out of my grasp completely, but the speed control is not.
I would say
And
late
that's fine.
February, early March. Yeah.
It's the first V2 ship.
If I had to consult my crystal space ball.
I forgot mine at home.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's time. I'm getting on. Am I allowed to present something, Kevin?
It's time.
Let's go. Let's something from this, because we like sonic booms here, and we have something special here for you prepared.
Ooh.
Look at that. Pauline finished this just a few hours ago, and I think it's a very, very, very cool design. Not only available on apparel and mugs, but also on stickers. Our Sonic Vibes shirt
Nice.
that is now available to celebrate all of these cool sonic booms. Did you hear Sonic Boom, Gene?
I did not. I did not hear the sonic boom of the booster. I was looking up in the air because I didn't have any camera, so I was looking up in the air. And I may have, but I heard obviously the roar of the rocket when it launched. But that's a beautiful design. I need one of those. Save me one of those, Adrian.
I
And that's a
will.
debut. You're just showing that for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is kind of a cool shirt.
We just showed that for the first time, and stand by, there might be prints coming from our photographers because they are still working on that. Go to shop.nasaspaceflight.com and get that, and get the patch. The patch is very much still amazing. I don't think it's any less amazing because they didn't go for a catch. It's still
Chad is saying we should stop testing on bananas, the poor bananas.
Oh yeah, that's
Look
true.
at that, just floating free in space. About to re-enter. That's a beautiful design. I definitely want a Sonic Vibe shirt.
There you
Add it
go.
to my collection.
And
to
now
wear on.
available.
Awesome.
Thank you all so much. And with that, we are now focusing our attention on this amazing Raptor relight coming on. Alex, will they perform that with a Raptor vacuum or with the Raptor sea level engine?
I'm mostly sure that'll be with one of the sea level engines, but we'll see.
Hey, Cygnus, thanks for coming by.
Yeah, I think it'll be a sea level engine. I mean, because they can turn it on, turn it off. We saw them do that at McGregor 50-something times a couple weeks ago, right?
Absolutely. I mean, they demonstrated their ability to relight the Raptor engine. The question is just 0G, can they do it there?
Yeah.
Because this very much ignites, of course, in
Alex,
space.
do you? I'm just the total speculation now. Did the booster explode because of the engines going under the water, or do you think they FTS'd it?
No, the FTS is saved during the re-entry. I actually heard the call out that FTS has been saved for the booster and also the ship. Like the ship right now, its flight termination system is also not armed right now. The booster, it just tipped over. Man, that's a 70-meter tall vehicle, right? Tipping over.
FTS, is that mean faster than shit?
That impact shock that
Hey,
breaks the steel. The steel seems thick, but it's only 4 millimeters thick, which, to be fair, it's still thicker than some of the other rockets that have used steel in the past, but those used like balloon tanks
4
kind of technology
millimeters?
where you pressurize the rocket a lot more to keep the tank walls very, very thin. And it's the structure. And one thing that Ryan
That
is
thin.
remembering, sort of reminded me in the back
That's
channel
how
is
thick those
the
walls
transfer
are.
tube. So there's two tanks on Super Heavy,
Jesus.
right? The top tank carries methane, and then the bottom tank carries liquid oxygen. The thing is, in order to carry that methane from the top tank all the way down to the engine, you need a transfer tube. That is a long, very thin tube through which all of that methane goes through,
Jesus.
and then there's a manifold at the bottom and everything that distributes the methane to all of the 33 engines. That tube is very, very like sort of a weak point when you try to hit the booster from the side. And so one of the potential things that might have happened, in which they have seen in the past, at least for the ship, is that maybe that
I've had knives thicker than that.
transfer tube snapped or something, and that caused the methane to burst essentially and to pop out once that impact with the water as it tumbled occurred. Very similar thing, if we have buoy camera today, we'll probably see a similar thing with ship 31 today. If it lands on the ocean, don't be surprised if a few seconds later you see a fireball, because that thing will tumble and tip over after splashdown, and then that's sort of a weak point in it's a weak point for that kind of load. It is not designed for that, I should say, right? Of course, it is completely designed for all of the flight environments. We saw Booster 12 already landing.
I think if I owned a car lot, I wouldn't want anybody from SpaceX or NASA test driving any of my cars.
On the chopsticks and everything, and its transfer tube, it was good. There was no explosion or anything. But obviously, these boosters and ships are not made to tip over on the ocean, and be hit by that water at that velocity. They are not made for that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Should be coming up in 5 minutes
Yeah,
with
about
that
5 minutes.
relight.
And they're showing the inside of the ship. It's the only thing that's lit up. It's still in darkness, so it should be coming to dawn here pretty soon.
And you can see there some of the launch pad systems. SpaceX says Starship is 30 minutes into its 6th flight test, and all systems continue to look nominal. So that's a good sign.
4 more minutes here to go. The tank farm and everything, of course, going now into a little bit of a savings mode, making sure they properly chill down while Starship is doing its thing. There it is.
And the important thing today with this relight is that they never got to do it on Flight 3. They were attempting to do that, but unfortunately, Ship 28, the ship for that mission, did not have a good stable attitude control. Its roll control thrusters were blocked by ice, and so those were not working. Of course, as we've seen with Flight 4 and 5, they have had that much better control. They have that attitude control issue seems to not be happening. And today, so far, I've been looking at that sort of graphics that they have for the attitude of the ship, and so far so good. Like it's pretty much, holding steady.
There we go. 2 to 3 more minutes. It's at 37:46, of course, initial timeline. Could all be changing.
I'm sort of hoping we see like a side by side of the banana and the engine bay, and so we see the relight, and then on the banana cam we see the banana sort of like, being accelerated down by the,
Oh yeah, true.
by the burn, because right now it's in 0G, right? It's floating there. It's held by those ooh, look at that. You can see
that?
lightning on the ground. Oh, well, on the earth.
Earth's a planet. Ooh, look at
Is
that.
that the moon as well? Ooh, look at that.
I don't know what I'm looking at.
That's so
Basically,
cool.
turn the lights on.
Yeah, it's lightning.
A bit more until orbital,
Yeah, right
orbital
there.
sunrise. Oh, is that like an inspection light?
What is
No,
that?
those are
it should
lightning.
be the engine chill.
Oh.
Wow.
And we are 2 minutes away from that relight.
So some
Very
venting
cool.
is normal.
Wow, fantastic. And yes, in the
Yeah, that's
bottom right,
cool.
that is a reflection of the moon, I think. Of course, watch for one of these Raptor engines at the bottom right. You will probably see one of them flash white as they ignite that.
Or so we hope, because for Flight 4 and 5, it seems like it did not work for the landing burn. I'm not sure why that was the case. Let's see if that works now. Should be about a minute and a half or so.
Want to stress that we're on a trajectory where if we didn't fire off the engine at all, we are definitely coming home. Ooh, seeing some thunderstorms down on the ground. That's pretty cool. But this is not a deorbit burn. If we didn't fire this engine, we're on a intentional suborbital trajectory. So no matter what, we're coming in over the Indian Ocean. Firing off the engine does change your exact splashdown point a little bit, but we've got this keep out zone across the entire Indian Ocean that we made sure was clear ahead of flight, and we continue to monitor during. But we're going to aim for that and hopefully see this relay test coming on in about a minute. It's just going to be one of these engines, and it uses what's called the header tank, so these small spherical tanks in the very top of Starship up in the nose cone. They don't require nearly as much gas to pressurize as your main tank, so they're really useful for any in-orbit maneuvers, and then for landing burn. So if we make it to a landing burn today, we'll be using them for that as well.
There we go. And
Yeah.
just 30 seconds from now.
That expected.
Let's see what happens here. We want to see. Hopefully,
Looks like they're
please show us
spinning
the engine bay
fast.
cam.
Bay. Come
Look
on.
like they're spinning
Please.
fast.
I wish I
wanna
had
see
like
that-
a steering panel for the cameras of SpaceX.
Yeah, I want to see that banana going nuts.
We get DOS working on it.
Yeah, probably. We should
I'm with
see.
them. I want to see that banana
There
cam.
it is.
Yep. Yep, there we go.
And
Just heard the call out for startup.
There we go. There it is. Yes.
There's
Thanks,
some
Big
light.
Cam.
There's that Raptor relit. And shut
Oh,
down.
heard a mice.
Good.
Nice.
Yes.
Looks like it
No,
was engine
mice.
one.
Yep.
One of the sea
one is
level
always.
engines.
They keep saying nice. No, mice.
It's 1, 2, 3 counterclockwise, right? Or was
It's one is the top, the left one is 3, and the right one
Yeah.
is 2
it? Okay.
of the center engines.
And there we go. That's a big win for SpaceX, demonstrating that engine relight capability in space. I know it's less spectacular than a catch, but that's a very important capability that SpaceX needs to fly actual operational missions, which might come with V2 of Starship.
Yeah, when the next version
Starting
of
to
Starship
do the
come out,
entry prep for that, so we're going to get the flaps positioned, and then it's going to start taking the brunt of all of that heat as you're coming in from well in excess of 10,000 miles an hour.
Jesus.
And
10,000
they can now
miles an hour.
they can now prove that they can go orbital and then deorbit and not have a gigantic stainless steel can fly around in space. So that's a huge milestone.
Yeah, and of course we have seen the the how good SpaceX Starship is in surviving re-entry heat. That is of course very good if
I
you
looked
want to
at
re-enter.
Yeah.
But
sorry.
but of course, if you have uncontrolled re-entry because you're, for example, have a failed deorbit, that capability would then turn into a negative because you have a lot of Starship surviving re-entry. So you want to have this capability of reliably deorbiting ship. Go, Alex.
Yeah, and I just look at the telemetry, went back and look at the speed. It looks like it went up by about 100 kilometers per hour, which is not a lot, but it kind of proves that it can at least do the burn when it is commanded to do so.
And now we've got that front flap cam. We're going to start seeing the once it starts to get into the atmosphere. Look at that. That's amazing.
That is the
And
reorientation, right?
Yeah, it is currently orienting for re-entry. That re-entry interface should be in about 5 minutes from now. You can see the altitude is right now 121 kilometers. It is currently in that attitude for the re-entry. It's already with the flaps sort of tucked in for that re-entry. And one of the things as well to point out is the speed will grow. You can see it there. It's still growing up. But at one point, you'll see that it is still, that it'll start to slow down as it goes through the atmosphere.
Absolutely. And don't confuse it yet. This is not yet. Is this the Starship flying into the sun now?
Is that
Because there's a glow here, but that's not the
that's not
re-entry glow
re-entry
yet,
plasma.
right?
No, that
Well, there's one thing to consider as well, which is because the plasma can still, like this is most likely plasma ionization, very early ionization. Shuttle fans out there, especially Crispy, will probably vouch for this because the shuttle also had this sort of phenomena when it was flying low. It was still in orbit, but it had this sort of ionization sort of deal. It was not still deep into the atmosphere or anything, but this is totally normal. We are in darkness, and so that's a lot more visible right now. That effect.
Yep. And we will see. It's gonna be interesting because we will basically experience orbital sunrise here as it re-enters, right? So this is gonna be quite an interesting effect that we are about to see. And friendly reminder: this entry interface and this whole re-entry lasts about 15 minutes. So we are in for a journey.
it does take some time. The movie's long.
Yep.
But
This
I
is-
mean, we can now see it. We have, I mean, it was still the first time we saw that coming in with the Starlink on the back of the ship and seeing the live pictures of the plasma. And now here we are again, doing it again. or the sunrise.
Also, I want to point out quickly from Ryan Weber in our back channel, apparently that burn added about 81 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
So just to add that as a quick number
It was
here.
also prograde, by the way, just like we expected based on Flight 3.
So the ship is now going further and not...
Yeah. Just a tiny bit, because 81 kilometers per hour is not a lot, but good enough for testing the relight capability of Raptor.
There we go. The glow is now intensifying. I think this is indeed some early
Yep.
signs of the re-entry glow. As we are getting more and more witnessing here of that amazing effect that we are only always seeing so clearly on Starship.
It's funny because it looks so steady that it looks almost like the camera is frozen. I bet some people in chat are already saying that it's frozen. I'm looking at the camera very closely, and I can tell you it is not.
And the telemetry's changing.
And so far, yeah, the telemetry and the video sort of go, differently. So far, everything looks good. Lars Blackmore just said that they are good for re-entry. It is holding attitude, and
And
yeah,
now
look at
the
that.
test begins. And it looks so calm, but this is violent. Like
Yeah.
the amount of heat, the amount of energy that they are bleeding off in the next 15 minutes. Against that, the landing burn of Super Heavy is kinda a walk in the park. The energy this heat shield is bleeding off is insane.
And again, they stripped, what,
Look at
6
the engine cam.
tiles off both sides, 6 rows?
It's
Oh,
funny
did
because
that
you can
en-
see one of
I
the
think-
one of the vents.
Oh, true. There's ice on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Won't be for much longer.
Oh, look at these. Can we-
Yes.
Yes. They learned the trick from Kevin.
Right. So they're really paying attention to those front flaps.
Yeah,
That's where they had issues on the previous flights, 2 flights, with the burn through. But the engine bay cam, you gotta love that.
Yep,
Takes
and
it back, right?
it will change colors over time. This will not stay as red. It will get some different colors. And remember, the thing we don't want to see is a lot of sparks. The moment we see a lot of sparks, that's usually not that great for the ship.
Means it's scraping the dome.
We have
That
sight
don't-
on the booster?
It means it's scraping on the dome.
Oh
Look
yeah, you
at-
can see some of the flames there.
Wow.
Cooked banana is good.
Yeah, there are
Banana
2 helicopters
flambe?
flying
That's
above it.
what's
That's
built
completely
for it.
normal.
Fucking
Look,
excellent.
Yeah.
part of the process for SpaceX to get approval for these things is, hey, if something, like they say, hey, if something goes bad, we'll deal with it. We'll recover any pieces that are floating that may be a hazard for navigation. And so this is all part of that process, right? That's good. They are being good neighbors, so to speak, right?
Yep. And also, just to point this out, there are processes in place how to sink a booster in the ship, and one of them at the end is literally shooting the booster. Basically, what they first will do is they will try to open vents on tanks if they want to sink a part. If that doesn't work, they will use ballistic forces, is I think the permission wording, to open that booster up and make sure that it's becoming a natural reef, because most of these boosters will become like a natural reef if they are not recovered. But of course, that is very close to the shore, so they might have some interest in actually fishing that out and getting some data, because, well, more data, more better.
And that's what they did with the hot staging on Flight 5. And now that the booster is
I
out
don't
there,
know.
they can do the same thing.
I don't know what that is.
Absolutely. That's super cool to see that, like,
Flaps
burning
now
in the
have
distance.
control of the vehicle, by the way.
Oh, so that means there's aerodynamic, because that
Yeah.
means there's enough aerodynamic that so you have to imagine this at the beginning. This atmosphere is super
And you can see
Is that the ship?
as well.
Yep. So now that speed needs to go to 0.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
It will.
Yeah. At the very least, to about 300 kilometers per hour, which is about the belly flop, sort of the terminal velocity of the ship.
It's going to go to zero one way or the other. Whether they landed in the Indian Ocean or it lands itself in the Indian Ocean, it's going to go to zero. I mean, launches are optional, landings are mandatory. But you're going to see that number start to, when it gets into the thick part of the atmosphere, that number, that kph is really going to drop, and it's a show. The sparks start to fly. You start to see the smoke come up the sides. I'm really interested to see what happens to the side of Ship 31 when they really get in the hot part.
I'm also looking forward to that.
Because they changed the entry profile. Like they intentionally want a
That must be the ship just peeking over the horizon.
steeper entry to test
That
that
far
don't they,
away.
Alex?
And also during the belly flop, we're gonna see a high angle of a tank, just approaching the peak heat of re-entry. By the way,
Oh, look at
they're
that.
gonna have a high angle of attack,
And we
that
just
high
heard
angle
we're
of
getting
attack will
into
be
the
nose
peak
down.
heating phase. We're getting these views courtesy of Starlink. We've got 4 different terminals.
Look at it slow down. I don't think belly flop is a preferred landing technique.
It's otherwise been just a
Look at it
a
slow down.
mystery box essentially for spacecraft design, where when you're re-entering through the atmosphere, at least getting anything in real time hasn't ever been possible before. But we're able to not just get these views, but real-time telemetry from the ship as it's coming through. Do really want to stress that
It's slowing down by 10 kilometers an hour every second.
we are really pushing the ship today. The heat shield is not in the same configuration as it was last flight, where we had a team of ship techs do just an otherworldly task, replacing the entire heat shield, thousands of tiles, installing a backup ablative, and that pretty much set us up to do a pinpoint landing on Flight 5. We did not do that with this one. We have some backup in those really sensitive areas around the flat, but this is an older generation heat shield. And knowing we weren't going to do that, we even went and removed some extra tiles. There are some missing tiles on the nose cone where we're testing some backups. There are some steel covered tiles in a couple of different spots. And there's also a whole lot more steel of the ship showing.
There we go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Look at these flap cameras. You can now see really this is the moment where the ship starts fighting. Because now it has to bleed off these 25,000 kilometers an hour.
That's incredible. And
It must be coming in at a very shallow angle, too.
did he say that they
quite
did
fast.
not put the ablative underneath? They did not, because on Flight 5, they stripped the heat shield, they put the ablative layer underneath, and he said they did not do this. This is an older style heat shield, which, again, we saw, massive burn through on Flight 4. I'm really interested to see what happens here.
Yep, and there's one of these flaps. These flaps are the critical point here. That's the point where if something goes wrong, we probably expect it to go wrong there.
I like how he said he's pushing the vehicle. They really want to see what this thing can do. They have the math, right? Alex is smiling because I said the math word. They do the math on the engineering, but then they go, okay, guys, how far can we go? What's the next step? And this is it. We're watching it in real time. Amazing.
Right, kind of crazy that they removed over 2,000 tiles. That's a lot of weight. Also from it would be a huge win if they get through this without these tiles, because that's 2,000 tiles they don't need. That's a lot of payload.
Yeah, that translates right to the bottom line for mass to orbit. And you start to see that. Look at the engine bay camera. That is beautiful. Absolutely stunning. And they're entering the peak heating part. We're going to start to see sparks. The colors change, like you said, Adrian. It's incredible. And they're still trying to hit that pinpoint landing, the pinpoint near the buoy in the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, it's they're quite in for a journey. And so far everything looks that's a lot of sparks.
Yeah, that's a lot of sparks. But that's where they have trouble, right there.
And also there are aluminium tiles on this that might also create sparks, because they are basically ablatives. They will melt through. So yeah, it's gonna be
and those are test tiles.
Yeah.
And it's 933 Kelvin is where aluminum melts, and then that tells them how the stainless steel is going to react, because I think the melting point of stainless steel is twice as much, like between 1670 and 1800 Kelvin.
It's exactly the point where stainless steel would start to change the property, apparently. So that's the point where it would start to be a bit softer and change a bit of the properties. So if the aluminium fails there, they know their stainless steel will start to be in a bit of a trouble.
Last time on Flight 5, when it was coming through peak heating, you could see.
Halfway through the peak heating, by the way.
Now we're looking at the back aero cover for the rear.
And it's
flap.
really slowing down now.
You could see the glowing
Quickly.
On the side of the ship, and then also on the aero cover. I'm going to be interested to see once we get through re-entry if we see the same thing. I love seeing the smoke.
It's kind of dropping pretty.
There we go. Look at, you can see the rainbow on the flaps again. Yeah. That's so cool.
That's called something tempering. I can't remember what that's called. I looked it up earlier. I wanted to say that word. Smart.
I'm looking forward to have like starships in with like 10, 15 flights later. We have like.
I think we're starting to see now the orbital sunrise. I just saw the limb of the Earth from one of the flap cams.
Thermal tempering. Thank you, Chad. Thermal tempering.
So far.
I guess re-entry sunrise is better said.
You can see some sparks, but the good thing is the ship is stable so far. It didn't lose any control authority.
One of the things that concerns me is I'm seeing some wrinkles there on the side of the ship.
Oh yeah.
On the steel. You see that, right?
That's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
wrinkles.
That's wrinkled.
Yeah.
T plus 54 minutes. We're into re-entry. We're down to 65 kilometers, and the speed is just shedding off this vehicle.
And that's bare steel, right, Alex?
Yeah, that's bare steel. They removed the tiles there from the side of the ship. We're still having about 10 more minutes until splashdown, so.
And it's that last 5 minutes where things start.
Oh, look at that golden.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. And this camera you're seeing is at the very edge, the very tip of the front flap.
Ooh, there we go. Look at that. It's coming into sunlight.
Yeah, there's sun there.
Wow, what great footage.
This is incredible.
It's like, oh, now it's turning blue. Everything has a different color. Do we like that? Do we not like that? I don't know.
The thing is, the color changing probably means that different materials are now.
I love blue. I love blue temper.
Exactly, that's my
turning into plasma.
It's like, oh no, what is burning blue?
Yeah, it's like you have to go through it.
So we're sub 2,000 kph, 60 kilometers. And you see the glow on the aero cover right there. That's those tiles.
He's probably over at MC Tunes.
Like they just
or FTFE.
Start to glow red. And last time the side of the ship did the same thing a little bit. We'll see.
That ship is aging very quickly right now with all of these wrinkles. It's
You can see how fast this is still going by all the clouds that are passing by.
Yeah,
but yeah, I really hope those wrinkles are not bad news for Ship 31.
Yeah. It's like that's the I'm not even that worried about the sparks. The wrinkles though, they're like is that stainless steel melting?
Is the color change there? You can start to see off to the right hand side, the ground, the earth underneath it. Or is the color change having to do with the daylight interacting with the plasma? Because we've never seen that.
Want to add anything as
that could be.
A little bit. Once we're
does it have to be metal?
Yeah, like highlighting different colors, kinda. Yeah.
There's an hour.
Second,
we're down below
power to catch it yet.
That's when we're gonna.
How are the flaps doing?
Yeah, it's getting. Apparently, we are also hearing. I've quickly reported that the fire is also getting bigger on the booster. So there's now been the fire a bit more on the booster. We are now in the golden phase of re-entry. Apparently,
Look at that. Look
this
at
is
that.
spectacular
Come
colors.
on.
Oh,
Still 5 more minutes until subsonic.
Fight,
the
ship,
tiles on the-
fight.
that's the right rear, the aft
The last one, yeah.
aft flat where they
I
put the
don't-
tiles. Did the middle one pop
Ooh,
out? It used to
did
be,
that?
yeah.
You see that patch of tiles, right? That's new. There was supposed to be 6 and then a center one. I think the center one
Gave it up.
it's gone.
I'm staying.
I'm
staying.
not sure if I like the amount of control they are performing with this right now, because this has moved quite a bit just now, and we'll see how this turns. This could, of course, be part of their maneuver and their like whole changing the. Oh, that's a burn through.
Oh, yeah.
I think we just saw a bit of a burn through there. It stopped again, but
The wraparound plasma wrap.
yeah, there was definitely plasma behind that flap that's there.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see.
Coming down.
All right, great news.
Wait, what did he say? What was that?
And their like whole changing the.
Oh, yeah.
That's a burn through.
Oh yeah, that was it right there. Yeah.
Their maneuver and their like
Yeah, right
whole
here.
changing the. Oh, that's a burn through.
Oh, yeah.
I think we just saw a bit of a burn through there. It stopped again, but
We'll need to
The
have
wraparound
safety address
plasma
that.
wrap.
yeah, there was definitely plasma behind that flap that's there.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see.
Coming down.
All right, great news there. That tells us that we are through the phase of peak heating. So we are
Good.
expecting these temperatures to continue to come down. Once again, we are targeting a soft splashdown in the Indian Ocean around off the northwest coast of Australia. We can see these beautiful views
Then do
of
that.
planet Earth coming in. Yeah, this is very different, where we had nighttime views of the ship as it was re-entering, and now we've got daylight. It is about an hour or so after sunrise there in the Indian Ocean. So pretty cool to see this.
Yeah, and it might not seem like it makes a huge difference, but we do get a little bit more light on ship as well for the camera views that we have, which is very beneficial for us to visually see anything and try and correlate that to any of the sensors or data that we have on the vehicle.
Exactly. That is why we shifted our launch window so that we could have that daylight in order to improve our observations of the vehicle. So not
Am I
only
seeing
are
the
we
same
getting
thing
all
as you
the
guys?
raw data from all the sensors that are on board
Oh, man.
Starship, but we also have multiple cameras and assets out there that are watching the vehicle and will also be able to tell us with this visual story that is also very, very important.
So
'Cause I
I'm
saw
worried about
some of
one.
the
I wonder if we were about to say that same thing, Alex. I'm worried about the middle camera there that we just saw on the side, because I think I
Yeah.
saw there was some red glow.
Yes.
on the steel.
Yeah.
Yep, on the steel. That was like that was not plasma glow. That
And
was
the wrinkle has
steel.
grown, by the way.
Yeah, that was steel starting to melt glow.
Yeah, that was forge temperature.
Yep.
That steel's ready to be forge welded.
But they are through peak heating. You can
Yeah.
see it now. The plasma is actually
Gone.
starting to fade.
And one thing to remind, so right now they are, still slowing down. By the way, the speed is still higher than the speed of the booster when it re-entered. Ooh, look at that.
Look, yeah, that's melted steel.
That's bad.
The forward of
that's
the
bad.
forward flap.
We've seen
From
worse.
entry dynamic pressure.
But it's turning. Look at that. It's cooling down. That's good. It's not increasing anymore. You can see it literally like fading.
Yeah, but the wind, the thicker atmosphere, the wind's going to catch some of that. Oh, I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, but
not.
it's-
We've seen
I
worse.
feel like it's going.
Looks
It's
good.
through the worst.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And
That's
now
not good.
it is at the speed of the booster, by the way, a hot staging.
And then
So all of that we just went through.
and it's still in re-entry orientation. The nose
Yeah,
is going to
and-
come down into a belly flop.
Exactly.
Right,
And
Alex?
once it comes into a belly flop, the new thing for this flight will be it'll pitch down to a higher angle of attack. And
Waning
SpaceX already warned us,
They probably hit an ether pocket.
don't be surprised if we see the whole thing just, flappity flap essentially
Why are they doing
going
that?
down to the ground. To stress the limits on the flap control. That's one of the things that they want to look at. See if the
There's-
flaps can control it.
There's a good chance what, for example, happened is if the flaps don't have enough steering authority anymore and they pitch forward, they cannot hold themselves anymore. They will pitch, they will basically lose complete steering authority. It's basically pushing, tilting it forward and see, because if you can pitch more forward, you can get more cross range, right? Because you can go faster forward, but that depends on if you're pushing it a bit too much.
And again, I want to remind everybody, this is everything's a test. They want to know how far they can push the vehicle, removing.
Looks like they
TPM.
are under Mach 2.
And they're at 1,500 kilometers now.
Okay.
24
Should be
kilometers.
preparing for
Under.
that belly flop soon.
Yeah. You can see the camera
Oh,
moving.
yeah.
Actually, the
Yeah.
forward.
It's going
flap.
Also
Belly
the
flop.
collars on the body of the ship.
Look at that.
This is a
Of
view
Sonic.
that we are very familiar now. Like, in a weird way, I'm having the
Mach 1?
craziest deja vu right now, because I'm
And-
like, oh, that's
Call outs aligning with this. You can see the orientation of the vehicle starting to change. You can follow that graphic at the bottom of your screen. Again, that is why those
And that's not a fisheye lens. That's curvature, buddy.
to change. You can follow that graphic at the bottom of your screen.
I think. No, I'm wrong. Never mind.
Again, that is why those flaps are changing. They control the orientation of the vehicle.
Hey, David.
Now we're moving into the belly flop. I want to see the
We-
nose down view. We're gonna look back.
we
up
are
and-
now. We are familiar with this, because this view,
Yep.
this kind of maneuver at daylight, that's the high altitude flap test we have seen.
Yeah, that's
They're only 700 kilometers up.
right.
Let's see.
You think they'll give us this camera on landing when they light for the landing burn, or do you think they'll go full on engine bay cam?
I think we're
Ooh,
gonna
look at that.
I think we're gonna get a buoy.
Probably, yeah. Yeah,
look
it's
at
skydive
600.
mode.
Yeah, 600
10
kilometers an hour.
kilometers.
It's
No,
going
that's
to
the
almost
speed, 10
stall-
kilometers up.
It's crazy how
Sorry.
slow this thing is. That's one thing that people will
Read the wrong
underestimate.
thing.
This Starship will be so slow because of its surface area, and basically just glide down.
It's flapping a lot more than you used to.
I don't know what I
Yeah.
would call it a glide. It's falling with style.
Yeah, it's falling. It's falling semi-controlled.
Yeah.
Look at
it's
the altitude, because once it drops below 2 kilometers, that's when they're gonna be preparing for that landing burn.
5.
Get ready for some excited commentators. Probably, I'm just warning you, everybody.
yeah, right.
4.
You already have 3 excited commentators.
That's true.
And
4 kilometers, and it's so slow now.
On a
It's
good
400
trajectory.
kilometers.
I have a feeling
3.
good trajectory. There's that
Good
call out.
trajectory.
Wow, look at that.
2 kilometers
clouds.
almost.
2.
Should be. There's, I think, the engine, like the vent that we see.
That's the high
right-
angle of attack. Look at that. Look at that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's pitching forward. And stabilizing again.
Yep.
1
Now we
kilometer
are
up.
waiting for Raptors. They should come any second now.
Excited.
0
Guaranteed.
kilometers.
Oh,
Raptors. There it is. 1, 2, 3.
And there's the pitch. Nice.
Belly flop.
Whoa.
Oh, it's so violent.
Wow.
Wow, look at that.
Stable.
2 engines.
Yes.
Woo!
That
Buoy
buoy
count.
Oh, that's
Beautiful.
very clear. Very good landing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And be ready, this could explode. Just saying.
Look at that.
Megaphone.
And
It didn't do
Not
a belly
exploding.
flop.
Oh my gosh.
Look at
It
that.
landed
Buoy.
and then fell over.
I thought the other one was the buoy cam. That was a ship.
Oh yeah,
It's floating.
it's burning. It's burning just a bit.
It broke.
Yeah, bro.
Yep.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That, expected. But I would
Hang
call
on, so
that.
this is not a buoy. This is actually an aerial asset.
Yep.
Might be out there because the buoy was a lot closer.
Yeah.
I would call this.
Hey, David, you don't. You can believe whatever you want, man. You're the one who has to get laughed at. So, whatever you want to believe, man.
Overall, with the fact that they removed 2,000 tiles
It's still
and
floating.
pitched a higher angel of attack, I would call this a very successful ship re-entry.
Definitely. Agreed.
This is the third time they do a belly flop and landing burn successfully from orbit, and the fourth overall.
I don't think
It's the- when the-
Remember when it
these
was
are the people
like,
who are
a
talking.
complete miracle when it happened with SN15 that it landed, and it's now 3
Well, you're cut out to be a denier then.
times in a row from orbit.
Wow.
Like, isn't that mind blowing to think about? When we
amazing.
were,
Well, I think that's about it.
that's good.
And
means
we
we're
have
gonna
to show
go.
this.
They didn't get to use the They didn't get to use the chopsticks. Oh well.
Look at that. Look at
All
what
the
we
metal
have there.
prints.
You know what is coming there. That is metal prints. And this one is from our very own Tyler Gray, who caught the ship, in, the stack in flight. Look at that. Absolutely wonderful. The silver.
So anyway, guys, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching this with me. Appreciate it. Click like and subscribe. You know what to do. So thanks for watching. Talk to you later.